You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and welcome back to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Welcome to another show. Guys, it's all about lawns, lessons, life, and it's about helping you guys grow a more successful lawn and landscaping business. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the jungle. Today, I wanted to talk about just a couple ideas here to help you guys grow and help you guys get your season started as we get into the spring rush. There is so much stuff that we can be doing, especially over the next couple of days, over the weekend. Maybe you guys can utilize some of this time while we are dropping this episode on a Friday. But long story short, here's what you can be doing to get your ducks in a row to start already gearing up for the spring rush. I've got 5 or 6 things that I wrote down here, just a couple quick bullet points after going through a couple people's questions on Instagram, going through some thoughts about what I'm going to be doing here, real life. You know, we run a lawn and landscaping business over in Novi, Michigan. We did just under $300,000 by a smidge, 300. We would have hit over it, but we were sandbagging a bunch of checks and some billing that we wanted to put onto January for January's income. I was already paying a hefty enough tax bill in 2022. Maybe you heard that rant the other day. And so any which way, we did probably cross just over 304 maybe, or 305 into the 2022 season. So here's what we're going to be talking about is I wrote down lawn agreements, commercial contracts, rate adjustment letters, charge card on file implementation, raising rates, canceling customers, and removing services. I don't know what word I just said there under my breath, but these were some of the topics that I kind of all bunched into this podcast episode. I thought they're all very similar. They're all very relatable. And again, some of this content comes from some of the questions that you guys submitted on the Instagram poll type question that I did on stories. So if you guys aren't following along on Instagram and IG stories, that's where you get the real time, like what's going on in Brian's Lawn Maintenance life day to day. From there, we've got like the long format video, the evergreen content on YouTube. And then of course, all like the sensational stuff kind of goes a little bit more on TikTok and maybe like the IG reel. So if you guys aren't following along on Instagram, check us out at Brian's Lawn Maintenance. I appreciate the follow. All right. So here's what I want to do. Talking about, we're going into middle part of January here. For a lot of guys, especially in the Midwest, the season's really going to start, breaking and shaking loose around mid-March, weather dependent. Depending if we have a cold season, we might not get out till, late March, first part of April. And if we have some decent temperatures, 50s and 60s, we might be out there the first, 2 weeks of March, which, we've gotten out of the last 5 or 7 years, only really about 2 quote unquote good spring rushes. One was actually last year. And then the other one was, of course, the COVID year, 2020, when they, of course, locked us all down and we weren't able to get out there literally until like April 28th or something is what it was, when they finally let us all scurry outdoors, for crying out loud, which that will never happen again. But any which way. So that was just depressing, seeing 60s and 70s in March and April and watching the grass, and just the leaf cleanups, the grass growing, the first round of ferts, all that mess. Lost out 20,000 plus in revenue production. We didn't really lose money. We just didn't make any money other than burning through payroll for the guys that were on salary, right? So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what can we do mid-January to get us going through now over the next 6 weeks till the end of February. That way we can line ourselves up for success. We don't have to worry about this stuff as we go into the spring rush in March, April, May. If you guys haven't noticed on a lot of my content and anything I've ever said or suggested, or watching our second channel, Building It Together, which if you guys aren't following along, we got some great vlogs. We just dropped another vlog on FPO2, which is now called Building It Together. Come check out our family channel, especially if you guys got a girlfriend, a wife, a spouse. They love watching that second channel. They can relate a little bit more with Liz and see maybe the softer side of Brian's Lawn Maintenance, which this channel on YouTube and this podcast, it's all about yelling at you guys. The other side is all about loving you guys. And I'm a tough love kind of a guy sometimes. So any which way, if you guys want to come check out our second YouTube channel, Building It Together, we're going to be documenting the home build process and it's just some of our life, our vacations that we go on, and just kind of sharing you guys a little bit more of the family side of things. But here's the reality. All of our content, a lot of my content is all about preventative maintenance, or, skating to where the puck is going to go. And a lot of it is taking care of the season that you're in right now, planning ahead for the next season, right? When you're in spring, or let's take it back. If you're in winter, you're thinking spring. If you're in spring, you're thinking summer. If you're in summer, you're thinking fall. If you're in fall, you're thinking winter, right? And interestingly enough, I wasn't automatically a creature of habit like that with organization or being just organized, right? Just to be blunt. I was very reactive, not very progressive, very plan ahead. Everything in my life was very tumultuous my first 5-10 years in business because it was almost like the tail wag the dog. What really helped me to get organized, of not only using a calendar and understanding maybe the lay of the land, but it kind of happened a little bit more differently for myself. It was really after about the first couple of years, I realized I needed to start thinking ahead. Customers are thinking, spring in spring, but I need to be thinking summer in the spring. And I kind of picked up on that after a couple of years. But then really, I guess kind of weirdly what happened was when I was doing YouTube, that actually hit me harder. It's just weirdly enough, just a candid, honest story. When I would create content on YouTube, like for example, I started realizing I needed to be 2 to 3 to 4 weeks ahead of you guys with where I'm even thinking, right? So I got to think about content 2 to 4 weeks ahead of where you guys are at, which is already 1 to 2 to 3 months ahead of where your customers are at, right? Because if we're like influencing the influencers and leading the leaders and teaching the teachers, right? Which we don't really use any of that moniker or any of that garbage. I'm not that guy. Okay. If you're not that guy, pal, I don't really look at myself like that with you guys. I am one of you guys. I'm in the thick of it every single day. I'm just telling you guys my life story, okay? I'm just sharing some helpful tips about where I'm at, and maybe they can help you guys. And after doing this for 16 plus seasons, we've started to observe some habits and some patterns, right? So here's the deal. Just to go back to a quick YouTube analogy, like when I want to, let's say in the fall, we're talking about fall aerations and overseeding. I have to have that content out in August for people to watch it in September and October, right? I can't really like create that content in September and October and rush this content together and hope people watch it because what? You guys are already done, doing your aerations, or you're in the thick of producing your aerations. So like what aerators to buy, how to overseed, how to make money in aerations, how to price aerations, like if these were video topic ideas. Those would be all videos that I'm going to drop in August for you guys to watch in August and September to be able to do aerations in September, October, and November, right? So it's one of those things where you always want to be a quarter ahead, 2 to 3 months ahead. So that being said, what can we do now in January to start getting ourselves ready to go? So when the customers start, poking their heads out of the ground like the little possums that they can sometimes be, that's funny and that's rude, but that's just how it is. We can be ready to rock and roll and having ourselves ready when they decide to be ready, right? Because once they're ready, and if you're not ready, you don't have enough time in the world to prepare, right? Like once you're in the thick of it, you cannot plan ahead enough. Long story short, like if you're in battle, right, the time to learn how to use your, M4 is not going to be when the, Charlie is sending them down range at you. Okay. You need to go through basic and know your training way before you ever get on the battlefield. So that leads me to what can we do mid-January through the end of February to get our ducks in a row? And again, I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements. What I wanted to talk about, not for super long, but maybe just to help you guys know what I'm doing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Loan agreements, commercial contracts, rate adjustments, charge cards on file, raising rates, canceling customers, and removing services. These are the 6 or 7 topics that you guys submitted that you wanted me to talk a little bit more about. So that's what I'm going to do. And you know what? Perfect timing question because I'm doing the same thing that you guys are asking about. I mean, talk about like the stars aligning, right? So let's do this really quick. I'm going to kick it over to you, Marty, Mr. Producer. We're going to hear a little bit more from today's show sponsors and announcements. We're going to hear a little bit more about Launchpreneur Academy. And I think maybe in today's show or a little bit later down the road, we might hear a little bit more from ratings and reviews, which is going to be really exciting. So thank you so much to you guys that lately have been leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews. We super appreciate that. If you haven't done it, do me a quick solid. Scroll down to your podcast player app. Do it now before the spring rush and the summer rush. When you don't have time to look at it, you're just changing tracks quickly. This time of year, you got 10 seconds. Do me a big solid. Hit that 5-star. Leave us a couple sentences. Let us know how we're doing. And we super appreciate that. All right, let's kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer, and we're going to come right on back.
Have you ever thought about starting your own lawn and landscaping business, but not sure where to start?
Look no further than LawnpreneurAcademy.com,
an e-training website dedicated to helping you start and grow a successful lawn care business. Save more time and make way more money by learning exactly what it takes to grow your business to the next level. Invest in your future by first investing in yourself. Use promo code PODCAST to save 10% on all training programs today at LawnpreneurAcademy.com. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, let's go down the rabbit hole about all things lawn agreement, and let's just jump into it. So The lawn agreements is a resource. If you guys are new to our content, a lawn agreement is a service inquiry form that we made up. This is one of our own, and we made it available for you guys for free at lawnpreneuracademy.com. Lawnpreneuracademy.com is our training and education website. It's a resource center where you guys can look at our contracts, our training programs, employee handbooks, subcontractor agreement, postcard, art file designs that you can take over to Postcard Mania, and so much more. Lawnpreneuracademy.com has been honestly just one of the biggest blessings, I think, for the industry. I'm not just saying that. I could literally go through, I have 6 different 30 photo screenshots, so 180 screenshots saved of just testimonies from launchpreneuracademy.com. And that's when I started taking those screenshots just in 2021. It wasn't for the first 2 years that I was able to, take those screenshots. I should have saved those testimonies. But I'm just telling you guys, it's a great resource for pennies on the dollar to help you guys grow your lawn and landscape business. If you want to franchise something and know somebody through, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10% of your gross business revenue or net profit revenue, and for the rest of your life, that's fine. Go do a franchise model, get access to all the resources. If you want to pay $1,500 for the whole ball of wax, get access to every single thing we can, and then never pay a franchise fee again, that would be the way to do it. And also, franchise fees and franchises, aside of the conversation, $1,500 for the whole ball of wax to get everything you need to grow a successful lawn and landscaping business, including free lifetime updates. Hello, that is a freaking tremendous opportunity. I wish we had all these documents and resources 10, 15 years ago when I was starting my company, including a subcontractor agreement, an employee application. I mean, it's freaking wild. So the lawn agreement, here's the whole short story along with that. 5 or 6 years ago, I told this story many times, but if you guys have been with me for a minute, hang tight. Appreciate you guys still sticking with me. But for the new folks that are listening in or just getting started in the industry, what happened for me many, many times is we had, let's just keep it simple, $100,000 projected of gross revenue that I was going to bring in for the following season. We're going to mow 50 people at, $1,500, then add the, for the season or whatever. And then aerations and cleanups and mulch installs and dethatchings and all this stuff, right? And we were going to have $100,000 in revenue come in. At the end of the year, I would always come up short with like $80,000 or $83,000 or $85,000. And I'm like, what the heck is the disconnect? The disconnect was what I was projecting versus the actual of what came in from what my customers were looking for service. I mean, just super simple, right? Usually the variables weren't the mowing, right? Because you kind of have to mow 24, 26, 28, 30 weeks straight, depending on your market. But it was all those extra services that I was never able to do a final, touch with those customers and figure out, did they want the shrubs pruned? Did they want the leaf cleanup done? A spring or a fall aeration, a fall overseeding, a mulch install. So what I did was I said, well, I got to get more organized. And instead of being reactive again, we're going to be proactive. What I did is I created this form. It's completely free resource. It's completely customizable. It's completely editable. I'm telling you guys what, this form alone, we could sell for $50, $100. I think it would be absolutely worth it. We give it away for free. You got to opt in with your email. We don't sell your email. We don't spam your email. I send out maybe once a week, once a month, really, because I write the email, the newsletter, about latest and greatest or a product or service or just an encouraging note. Nothing crazy there. So don't think we're spamming you or trying to get your email and sell it for something, which I don't even know what that means or how to do that. I've heard people say that. I don't even know what that means, honestly. But you plug in your email, and you get the email completely, or the resource emailed to you completely free, no strings attached. You get the document file. You can open it up on Pages, Word, Google Docs, any word processor. And basically, it's an inquiry form. At the top, it says customer info. And then through the middle section, it's all the different services, and it's a checkbox format. And you mail these, snail mail, to your customers, and they can sign off on whatever services they wanted to sign up for. So if you have 100 customers, you snail mail these out, 100 of them, you include them in an envelope with a returned envelope without a stamp. Quick question I get a lot is, do we include a return envelope with a stamp? I do not, just because I'm going to save 60 cents on 100 mailers. And, if we don't get 25% of these back, I'm not going to pay $10 to have, stamps not get returned to me with envelopes, right? I mean, just really common sense. So what we do is we mail all of these out, usually the first week of February, and we were able to send these all out. And within the next 3 or so weeks, we usually get 60 to 70 to 80% of these back from our customers with a checkbox of all the services that they want and also any updated customer info. Maybe they moved, maybe they sold a home over the winter and you don't do snow for them, so you don't know what's going on. But over that 5 months, they took a job change in Arizona and they're out of here and they sold a home. And that's my point. in February, March, April, you're ready to go out there, start cutting grass, and you're like, yeah, we got Mrs. Smith again. And you don't know that Miss Smith sold her home in December 1st because you got done mowing her lawn around Halloween, right? So you're like, yeah, this is part of my projected revenue, and she gone, right? She gone, as Nick Carlson says, right? So that's one quick example to 100 more I can give you. Maybe somebody passed away. Maybe somebody's teenager came of age and is going to mow the property themselves. They don't need a lawn service anymore. Maybe somebody that you weren't doing work for anymore wants a one-off job, or they do want you to sign back up in mowing. Usually I send these to all my annual lawn care customers, right? But it's something where if you have 300 customers, you're more than welcome to send it to your whole customer base. Now, one quick thing, some people have digitized this form. Some people use the free estimating approval app or feature, part of Yardbook. Maybe Jobber has something like that. And you can take the same concept. The form isn't the silver bullet. Catch the concept, right? The concept is touch base with your customers and get a pulse, get an inquiry of where you're going to be at with your business. Who needs what? This is a conversation starter. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not a silver bullet. It's not the crux to hold your whole business on. It's not the keystone pillar, to hold up this whole house of cards. It is simply just a conversation starting tool. And it's also an excuse. It is an excuse to get back with that person. Okay. So when you mail something to somebody, of course, you hope that they update all their customer info. Maybe their email has changed, their phone number has changed, or whatever. But number two, you get this whole checkbox and you get to see, Miss Smith wants a spring cleanup, a regular mow. She wants to sign up for FERT service. She wants a fall aeration, no overseeding this year, and she wants the newly offered Christmas light, proposal. Right? Because a lot of you guys are getting the Christmas lights. Adjust the form. You can add things in. Flower planting installs, pine straw, dethatching service, hedge pruning, Christmas lights, holiday, the pots and the wreaths that some of you guys have been making, which are highly profitable. Dude, you can customize the form any which way you want. It's just a good crux, a good thing to use to get back in front of the customer, okay? Let's kind of shift gears. Let's talk about the next thing. But that's a free resource. Go to launchpreneuracademy.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, punch an email, you get the form. We're not going to bug you. You get that form. Print out 80 to 100 of them. Fill them out through January or the first couple days in February and get them out the door if you're in the Midwest about 6 to 8 weeks out before the season starts, right? When a new customer signs up, I'll just hit this really quick. I get this question a lot. When a new customer signs up, do we give them this form? I don't, but it's not a bad thought either. But in terms of like letting them know the other services you offer. If it's a walk-up, you might want to give them a form and say, hey, if you want to fill this out, send it to me, scan it to me, email it to me, or take a photo and send it to me. That's fine. Or you might want to make up a different, flyer or handout that just talks about the services you offer, just so you have something in the truck, in the clipboard to let customers know, hey, dude, I know you're signing up for Weekly Mow. You're just a walk-up. We got, you texted us your name, number, address, email for you to be into our CRM. But just so you know, we do mulch, we do cleanups, we do snow, right? All this other mess. Don't leave those other services up to guess or obscurity for the customer. Educate them. For me personally, when we sign somebody up, I always say, hey, super excited about having you sign up. Appreciate it. Send us your info. We'll get you on the route. We'll start next Wednesday. Hey, really quick, while I got you, not here to sell you or sign you up on anything else, but just so you do know, we do offer a host of other services: mulch, cleanup, snow removal, hedge trimming, fertilization, irrigation work, anything you need. We're pretty full service. We can take care of you. Just keep me in mind if you have any other needs pop up or arise, or if you're interested. Fair enough? Oh, fair enough, honey. Thank you so much. If you're quiet, half of them will say, you know what? Touch base with me about an aeration. Touch base with me about a cleanup. No problem. We'll keep that in mind. We'll make a little note, and we'll follow up with you on that during the appropriate time of the year. Right? It's a great time to just upsell. And again, like we've talked about this at length, like how many customers are using other contractors to do other services, right? When you offer them in-house and you left that revenue on the table. I mean, like the worst one for me example is always like somebody does a core aeration with the fertilizer company. And I'm like, dude, we could have did the FERT in-house. We could have did the aeration in-house. We were so busy getting them, right, on the mowing, we forgot to let them know that we do everything else. That's just a no-brainer, low-hanging fruit. Don't leave that money on the table, okay? Anyway, check those out. But those are all things that you could be writing out. It does take some time, especially if you got 300, 400, 500 customers. I wouldn't be opposed to having something like that move to more of a digital fashion, maybe with like a yard book with an approval estimate that you can do and have those customers check yes on the approval. And it's basically like the same line item that you drew out. But if you have, 30 to 50 to 100 customers, it does take 3-4 hours to put this all together. My wife and I do this. Usually my mom comes over. We do it in an assembly line. I'm writing all the customer info on the envelope. Liz is stuffing all the envelopes, and she's got great penmanship, so she writes like their name and address and all that mess. My mom's stamping and all that other mess, and we're off to the races. All right, really quick, let's talk about 2 things while we're here on this. Number 1 is the rate adjustment letter, the price increase letter. It's another resource we have at launchpreneuracademy.com. At the time of this recording, it's $49. It's about 8 to 10 sentences. It's just say, hey, here's your price. Things go up, and our costs have gone up. Your price is being adjusted by X amount of dollars. Thank you for your business. Appreciate your support. It's a little bit more formal than that, as you can imagine. But some people are like, I'm paying $50 to raise my rates to get a letter. Dude, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to hustle you to go raise your rates to buy my letter. I'm letting you know that if you just want to plug and play, you bought it, you download it, you add your name to it, it's good to go. Dude, that's all you need to do to raise those rates on those customers that you need to have a price adjustment. That's it. No obligation. If you want to make your own letter, have your own language, email somebody, text message somebody, call somebody and say the same thing, dude, God bless. My encouragement to you would be make sure you're raising those rates 5 to 7 to 10% year over year. Or if you had priced a lawn that was completely botched, it's no big deal to spend a few minutes, get the price that you want, at least submit the price that you want. And if the customer balks, they balk and you guys both walk. If they say, hey, what the heck? You explain, hey, we let it go, but we need to readjust to actually make some profit on this property. It is what it is. And then you just give them the new price. Okay. But let's say for all of us, for the last 4 or 5 years that we've been doing this, we send out the the lawn inquiry form and the price adjustment letter because everybody's rate gets, changed or adjusted year over year. The price goes up. Yesterday's price is not today's price, right? So everybody's going to get a $2 to $4 price increase, including the letter. It is what it is. Now, most of our lawns are $40, 10%, $4. Most of them are going to go to 42s and 44s, right? It is what it is. In fact, the new customer price sign up for us is $50. I told Rob that and Mark that the other day. If anybody has a walk up, it's $50. That's a little high for my area, my market for 1/4 acre lots. I think they all should be at $50, $55. But you know what? The market, it is what it is. There's still guys here mowing for 25s and 30s. I was that guy for a while and I'm getting my prices up, obviously, and we all are. But sometimes you have to be realistic too with what the market can bear. However, our route is completely full. We've been full for years. We're still pruning the bottom feeding, low paid customers, low profit customer, headache customers, right? And so what we're doing is we're still adding customers all the time. But the new, we don't need it customer price is $50 for a weekly mow. Okay. But anyway, in that lawn inquiry, which is a free form, you can download at the homepage, scroll all the way to the bottom. In that same letter that you send out, if you need to, or if you want to, you don't have to. Maybe you already have a great price on a lawn. Maybe you already have a great price on some of your clients. We do. There's some people's lawn rates that signed up last year. We got them at a profitable number, a great number. They're not going to get a price increase. They might get one the following year, of course. But if you do need to do a price adjustment or a rate adjustment, you can get that resource at launchpreneuracademy.com on the resource page under store for $49. By the way, when you have the template, you have it for life. And I think I talked about this on a previous podcast, but raise that price by $2 for that first customer on a 30 weekly mows. The letter's $49. You just brought in 2 times 30, which is $60. You're already in the black for that letter on that one customer on that first year, right? So if the form was $499, you might think twice, but even then $500 you raise, what would that be? 8 customers' prices by $2. And it's already in the black. You have 8 customers out of your 80 customers. Dude, you'd still be in the black with a resource like that. Thank God the letter's not $499. Not that it's the bee's knees, but I'm just telling you, everything we offer is on a shoestring budget. Okay. So that's my philanthropic arm to give back and to just provide something and to still make a couple bucks on it to be able to support the website. Okay. Because nothing's free, as you guys can imagine. Okay. Let's shift gears really quick. We talked about the loan agreements, the rate adjustments. Let's talk about customer cancellation form. We have Another resource on launchpreneuracademy.com. This isn't a pitch to pitch them or plug to plug them. I'm just going through this while I got it. But these are real questions that you guys are having is, how do I cancel a customer? Well, you can use the customer cancellation letter. It says a varied couple of conversations of sentences saying, hey, due to what I actually haven't looked at the letter in a year or two, but it basically says something like, first off, if you are going to cancel a customer, be honest. Just shoot them straight. Hey, we're shoring up our route due to the lack of profitability, due to the increased cost of overhead, due to the shifting of gears for our company, prioritizing landscaping over mowing, right? Whatever it is, just be honest, right? You don't have to be so honest where you say, hey, we hate your dogs because they leave poop in the yard and your kids leave their toys all over the place. Like, don't be too honest, right? But just say, hey, we're shoring up our route. Unfortunately, we've had to make tough decisions in terms of cutting our route to remain profitable. This letter is just letting you know that we're at this immediate time going to be canceling service. We do appreciate your business. We appreciate your customer. Thank you for letting us serve you over the last couple of years, whatever. And we, at best, if you can provide a referral for them, maybe a buddy who has a budding business in that sub or that area of town, you can refer them to them. But you're not obligated to do that. If you really want to have a graceful bow out and duck out from servicing that customer, offer a referral. Or just say, even if it's the big outfit in town, hey, there's a bigger outfit in town. They might have the capacity or the bandwidth to take you on. You don't know if they're taking on new customers, but give them the phone number or the name of the biggest outfit in town, and maybe those guys have an in. That's usually what I do. I say, hey, I can't take care of you anymore, but there's these 2-3 guys. I don't know if they can take you on, but it's at least it's a shot. Right. And they say, oh, thank you for the referral. After that, I hate to say it, it's not your problem. It's not your problem. Life goes on. Now, of course, sandwich that with people skills so you don't get a 1-star review. Hey, this customer, this client, or this company dropped us for no freaking reason. Give them a logical reason, an honest reason, a truthful reason. Of course, don't color it up too much. You don't have to be like bluntly honest. Like, hey, your dog crap, or your Christmas lights are always in the yard, or you're a slow payer. Like, there's being honest, and then there's like being nice. You know what I'm saying? All right. So you can cancel customers. That was the customer cancellation form, the rate adjustment, the loan agreement. Also, I put in here, it's okay to communicate to your customers things that you are shifting gears and changing up. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I know we've been doing your mulch the last couple of years. We're getting out of residential mulch installation. Hey, we're getting out of pruning. Hey, we're getting out of biweekly mowing, right? This is a great time to have those conversations that you're not doing a certain service or product or whatever. It's okay. You're in charge of your own company. If something's bothering you or you hate doing something, adjust it. Like, you're not obligated to do anything you don't want to do. I mean, that's the best part about being self-employed. Now, I will say in the beginning, there's a lot of things you have to do that you don't want to do. You have to pay the bills. You have to bring revenue coming in. You have to do certain things that you despise even doing, right? Like, it is what it is. By the way, it's the same thing if you're working for somebody else as if you're self-employed, right? Now, that being said, maybe your business is becoming more robust. Your income is growing up, your revenue is growing up, your profitability is going up, the cash on hand is growing up, your retained earnings is growing. Maybe you just got older. Maybe you had a kid this year and you just can't obligate yourself as much as you can. You got to downshift with what you can offer. Dude, that's totally fine. That's what you guys, I would imagine, would love to hear. That's my real life story. 4 or 5 years ago, we stopped offering hedge pruning and cutbacks. I have a guy that I sub out for. His name is Chaz. Amazing dude. We don't do any more residential mulch installation for about 3 or 4 years. Now, I did change that last year because we have the mulch force bucket for the Toro. And we'll also have a garden tractor in 2023, as long as all the stars align. But before that, I was so sick and tired. I'm just being honest. I was so sick and tired of wheel barrowing. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. Using wheelbarrows to move 6, 8, 10 yards of mulch. And most of my residential mulch jobs, landscape beds in the front, landscape in the beds, most of them were between 6 and 12 yards of mulch. We were so tired of wheelbarrowing around, 6 foot, 8, 6 cubic foot, 8 cubic foot, 10 cubic foot wheelbarrows to do mulch jobs. It was great money, But dude, we were just so slam packed with a full mow schedule at the time. 90 to 120 weekly mows. People are just, calling off the hook for residential mulch. They all want it done by, May 30th or whatever. It was just really impossible for us to do that. Once the full mowing schedule hits, usually around mid to late April for us, we are a 100% fully booked out mow schedule crew business. We just don't have the bandwidth. For the 150 to 200 yards of mulch that we moved this spring in 2022, we moved all of that on Friday and Saturday alone. 200 yards of mulch almost on 4 weekends, maybe 5 weekends through the spring rush. That was already, dude, we were doing 30 and 40 yard mulch jobs on every Saturday, every Friday and Saturday before the spring rush hit. And there was a full schedule of cleanups, full schedule of dethatchings, spring aerations. Dude, the spring rush is so wild. So if you're like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to get all these residential mulch jobs. Like, dude, don't do them. You don't have to do anything. If you're so bottlenecked or constricted or constrained where you cannot get to them, I'd rather you guys, and I'm sure your customer would appreciate this too, bow out gracefully and tell them, hey, we cannot do this, or we cannot do this any longer, or we don't do this anymore. Right? Now, again, like, number one, if you can refer them to somebody that does, even better. But number two, at the end of the day, not your problem, right? Like, I really want you guys to not be stressed out. And I'm talking to myself included. 4 or 5 years ago, we got rid of the residential mulch. We got rid of the fertilization. We gave that all to Bedell. We did no more prunings and cutbacks. Dude, we had a lot of pruning business in 2016, 17, 18. I did no personal pruning in 19, 20, or 21, or 22. I haven't done any pruning in 3 or 4 years. I did 1 or 2 commercial sites, but they were half-day pruning jobs, $675, I think was one of them. But I'm done doing any pruning. I just can't. There's just not enough bandwidth, dude. Between my life getting busier, my obligations to my different businesses getting more. I have kids now. And my guys don't want to do certain things. I don't want to do certain things. It's not like they can't do certain things. We just don't have interest. Some people love pruning. Some people love pruning. We hate pruning. I hate pruning. I hate ticks. I hate bugs. I hate spiders. And I hate hedge trimming through something and hitting a metal irrigation sprinkler head rod and messing up my hedge trimmers and almost cutting them off my dang hand. I know other people they hate because of snakes. Snakes are in the bushes, man. Shout out to Paul. I get it. So other people, other people, $875 to prune, for 5.5 hours. Dude, what are you going to make $875 with? The only overhead is a couple hedge trimmers, a couple hand pruners, and maybe a combi unit with an articulating hedge trimmer. That's the way to go. And they got some ladders and they got a dump insert or a box truck and they can haul that stuff away. Dude, rock and roll. But you got to know your strengths, okay? All right, so we talked about lawn agreements. We talked about rate adjustments. We talked about canceling customers. We talked about removing services. Talked about raising rates. Here's the last 2 things I'm going to talk about: commercial contracts and charge cards on file. I'm actually going to get a quick sip of water. We're going to change it up. We're going to break it up here for just a quick second. And I'm going to go down the rabbit hole about helping you guys with the credit card on file thing. And also, when's a great time to send out your commercial contracts and commercial proposals, and even how to reach out to the decision maker and how to get more commercial clients. Does that sound fair? All right, so let's do this really quick. Let's break it up. Let's shake it up. I'm going to kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer. We're going to come right on back.
Enjoying today's show? Motivated to take your lawn care and landscaping business to the next level? Learn what it takes to grow your lawn and landscaping business today with training and education from the Lawntrepreneur Academy. Get educated with how-tos on mulch installation, plowing snow, aeration and overseeding, and so much more. These training programs are designed to help you save time and make more money with your business. Invest in your future by first investing in yourself. Use promo code PODCAST to save 10% on all courses today at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, let's jump right back into it here. Appreciate you guys hanging tight with us for just a couple quick minutes here and from today's show sponsors and announcements. And hopefully you guys are really enjoying the podcast. By the way, if you guys haven't left us a 5-star rating review, super appreciate if you guys don't mind doing that. And then also, hey, later tonight, dude, for real, go check out LaunchpreneurAcademy.com. Not only do we have the resources, I think it's like 50 or 49 resources that you guys can look at, from postcard designs to contracts to agreements. We've got a bunch of documents coming in a Spanish format. And then also later on the website, hopefully by February 1st, I've got 1 or 2 new resources that are really going to help you guys out with calculating your profit. Little tease there. something I've been working on since last year fall. It's actually been ready since last year fall, but it's a special time to release it here in the spring as more people are focusing on this stuff. But in each way, quick little tease, the profitability calculator is going to be coming down the pike very, very soon. And I'm very, very excited about this robust tool to help you guys with pricing your lawns, figuring out your labor rate, and your profitability. Okay, little tease there, but in each way, keep an eye at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. Go there, check out, go get the free lawn agreement. That way you're part of the email subscription list. And when all this stuff, all these resources drop the first part of February, you guys will have the first in and the first access to them. All right. In which way, let's go to the two comments or questions I get the most, especially with this Q&A that we had on the Instagram stories, which was commercial contracts and the charge card on file implementation. All right, let's talk about the charge card on file implementation for just a couple quick minutes, because we've talked about this on many, many of shows. I've done 1 or 2 dedicated shows alone on this topic. This one's near and dear to me. Excuse me. So where I first adopted this was the same time that we adopted Yardbook. Now, Yardbook is our CRM of choice. I will tell you guys, everybody and their brother has, especially in the social blogosphere, different CRMs that they suggest. Fantastic. There's by the way, they're all great. Jobber, Synced Up, Element. There's 100 other guys like B tier, type CRMs. And I'm not saying they're bad or good or whatever, or putting anybody down. They're just the mainstream ones. Yardbook, Element, Synced Up, and Jobber. Okay, I don't get paid really to sell or convert you guys on switching to a CRM. Yardbook, in total disclosure, sponsors the YouTube channel, and all my descriptions it says Brian's Lawn Maintenance is powered by Yardbook.com. I love Yardbook. We've been using it for 5, almost 6 years. If they didn't pay me, I would still use it. Now, I'd probably be an idiot if like Jobber said, hey, we'll pay $100,000 a year to like promote us on social media. I'm not really getting those offers. And if I did, I just don't have the time or the capacity or the care to switch over. I've had a lot of people go from Yardbook to other CRMs and come back. I've had other people go from other CRMs to Yardbook and then go back. I've had people convert all the different ways. So for crying out loud, if you guys are shopping for a CRM, stop looking left and stop looking right and figure out what works best for you. Okay, like, I'm not here to get an amen. I'm just telling you guys straight up, like, there's other silver, shiny, flashy things that other CRMs offer, and that's great. You need to figure out what your business needs and what's the best way to have it streamlined, efficient, and more specifically, it's a manageable, easy workflow for you to run your business. I don't care if something offers 7 other things and you don't use it. It doesn't make it any more valuable to have those as an option, not use them, and to be overpaying or to be a bandwagoner. Okay. The reason I like my iPhone, not because I don't even know. I couldn't even sell you on an iPhone right now. The only way I would talk to you about why I love my iPhone is 2 things. 1, it's got a great camera. 2, it just works. It just works. I don't have to overthink anything about my iPhone. It's so dumb. A toddler could use it. My daughter is 18 months old and can literally navigate my iPhone when I give it to her once in a blue moon. Okay. We do not let our kids watch screen time, but any which way. The reason I like Yardbook, and it's the iPhone of CRMs. It just works. It's not overly fancy, although it has like 50 different features that would make it as robust as anything that you guys are trying to do. If you're unhappy with it, it's probably because you're not going down the rabbit hole about how to make it work better for you. But no doubt about it, other CRMs have some other different things, but of course they cost money. $59 a month, $99 a month, $199 a month, $399 a month, $499 a month. Okay. I'm not saying that they can't be good for you. Okay. Just the point of this, stop being swayed so much by other influencers about what's good for you. Figure out what's good for you. You need to figure out what's good for you. Can I just say that and like still keep friends with my influencer friends and then also still keep friends with you guys? Like, I don't care what other flashy, shiny objects something else has. CRMs are otherwise. Well, this mower's got oil guard and this mower doesn't. Yeah, but the oil guard that's offered on your Ferris isn't offered but an hour and a half away. Some other influencer told you that Ferris is awesome, and then Ferris is an hour and a half down the road, and now when your mower broke down, you're not only out 3 hours of drive time, but you don't have the same uptime that your Toro dealer would have had because they have a more robust dealer network with Toro in your area. But you went with Ferris because somebody said Ferris is awesome. Or pick your freaking brand. Okay, so I love social media, and the honest conservative approach with all of my content is you need to figure out what works best for you. Do your research. Get the lay of the land. I will always say that from day one. I don't care how much money is thrown at me from different sponsors or brands for our social media crap. I couldn't care less. We do not make any of our decisions or promote anything based on the dollar bill. I'm telling you straight up. Because if Yardbook stopped paying me tomorrow, I would still use Yardbook. Not out of laziness, because my stuff is all with Yardbook either, by the way. Just factually, just showing you my hands, showing my cards. It's just a great CRM. It's extremely simple to use, okay? Now, that being said, I'm not here to sell you on Yardbook. What I am here to sell you guys on is cash flow, profitability. That's the point of the podcast, real, authentic lawn care. It's about helping you guys grow. My conversation is more catered to helping you guys get your cash flow under control. What I've noticed 5 years ago in tandem with using Yardbook, again, pick your CRM, but I use Yardbook, is we went from a invoicing model, just short story long, an invoicing model to a charge card on file model. And what that simply means is if you have a good CRM and pick your CRM, like I said, most of them, including QuickBooks, which is accounting software, which isn't a CRM, but you need to have a good accounting software in tandem with a good CRM. You invoice out a customer. It can be as simple as you did a $50 one-time mow. It can be you did a $300 prune job, a $400 flower install. It can be a $240 a month reoccurring monthly revenue for 4 cuts at $60 for your lawns. It can be a $1,200 mulch job. It can be a $7,000 landscape job, and it's invoice one of 2 of $3,500. Okay, whatever. The point is you invoice and then basically pray to Jesus that customer pays. And I know people are like, no, dude, like I've got great customers, man. Like 70% of them pay within the first week, or 80% of them pay within the first, 2 weeks. I've never really had that many issues with customers paying. Okay, really quickly, I'm just going to talk maturely. Like the only people I hear that from are people with about 20 customers or less. I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm not here to be mean. But I've done coaching calls with people that have 10 customers. I've done coaching calls with people that have 1,000 customers. The only people that say that are people that have 20 or less customers. All my customers pay on time. I've never had an issue collecting payment. Most of my people pay quickly. Now, unless you're the unicorn out there with 100 customers doing $250,000 a year and every single person pays within 7 days, we need to have you do a podcast. Okay, I'd love to hear about your show. That's going to be called the Obscene Profit, never had a cancellation or never had a bad debt or never had a slow pay customer.com. Okay, it's just not real business. Anybody who says that, they're selling you something, okay? It's just not how real business. And I've been doing this for 16 years. I give the benefit of doubt to all humanity. I love people. My worldview is actually the exact opposite. I'm very pessimistic. I'm very guarded. I'm very jaded. I'm very reactive. Through training and 5,000 hours of self-help and open therapy. Okay. I have by design, by skill set, had to change my brain to be a positive thinking person. Carnally, naturally. Not of anything bad or evil or wrong. It's just I'm a melancholy. They're pessimistic personalities, number-driven people by choice or by DNA. I had to become a positive person by choice. I had to be an optimistic, positive, glass half full, give people the benefit of the doubt. Somebody doesn't text you back for 4 days, you think they're pissed off. The reality is that they've just been busy and there's nothing wrong. From my wife to my friends to whatever, okay? I call somebody and I say, they pick up the phone. My subcontractors call me. I'm not thinking, oh shit, they hit something, they broke something. I'm thinking, dude, tell me about how you just finished up the FERT route and you just cleaned up. My customers are taken care of. You're taken care of. It's all positive. I'm not thinking, oh man, you got in a fist fight with something, right? I have had to do that at length, talking about growing a positive attitude. So when it comes to the invoicing side of things, I want to be Mr. Hunky-Dory, Mr. Positive thinking about invoicing. The pragmatic, the practical, the pessimistic side of me just realizes that most people, most customers, when you invoice, they are just not thinking about your business, your cash flow, or your financial health of your business or your family like you are. So for 15 years, no, let me take that back. For about 10 or 11 years, we worked with an invoicing model. First, there's paper invoicing, then it was a Square, and then it was with, a CRM with like a Yardbook. Actually, the minute I adopted Yardbook, we adopted charge cards on file. So we went from a invoice and pray and hope that they send me a check to a charge card on file. And it's not a silver bullet, but this is probably the most silver bullet-y thing I could give you as an offer. And again, you do you. If this doesn't work for you, that's fine. Do whatever you want to do. For me personally, we're a heavy mowing business. And what we did is all of our customers had to put a charge card on file in 2016. Okay, so what that simply meant was instead of invoicing customers for let's just keep it simple, $50 a weekly mow, 4 mows in a month, it's $200. And then we would send that invoice out. What I had noticed was, and at the time we were doing about $10,000-12,000 in gross revenue per month on mowing, reoccurring mowing. We would mow out $12,000, bill out $12,000. The first week with an invoicing model, and I've said this before, but stick with me. If you guys are new, this is for you. The first week I get about $3,400 of that. The second week I get another $2,100. The third week, because people are biweekly paychecks with their corporate jobs, we get another $2,700. The fourth week I get $800, and I'd always be owed about $1,500 to $2,000. We'd always have about 4 to 6 to 8 customers that always owed me $100 to $200, and then we would start mowing the next month, already creating another line of credit, right, for that next month's worth of billing. So they didn't pay that first month. By the time I even got my billing out, we'd already be mowing the first week of the next month. So now we got 5 mows in. No payment for another, week. Now I'm 6 weeks in of service, 7 weeks in of service, 8 weeks of service. Send out another invoice. So they had a $200 invoice. Then they had another $200 invoice. And then you're like, yeah, dude, like people always catch up. Now, what do? Well, you don't want to let the lawn get tall. So what do? Keep mowing. You're 9 weeks in, 10 weeks in. And then after about 10 weeks and them owing you about $300 to $500, you finally get enough gumption. At least this is what I did. And I said, I'm sticking it to these people. I don't care if the lawn gets tall. I'm going to cancel service. Call them, email them, even though you already have. And then they say, oh, and then there's 7 different excuses from here to Sunday about what happened. Oh, we moved. We sold the house June 1st. You're like, what? Like, yeah, we moved June 1st. You didn't get my email? No. Yeah, no, we don't live there anymore. Okay, so now you're 10 weeks in. Somebody owes you $500. How are you going to go tit for tat about getting your $500? Dude, you're going to take an L. Number 2, oh no, we canceled you. Well, I don't have any proof of it. Well, it'd be nice to have a little bit of tit for tat when you only have a $200 bill that's being argued versus a $500 bill or a 4-week bill being argued instead of a 8 to 10 week bill being argued. Do you guys know what I'm saying? If you're new to this, I'm just giving you the farm, man. Nobody taught me this for 11, 12, 13 years. But this is all the stuff that I learned through these hard lessons, these hard knocks of life, building my business the first 10, 11 years. It's the stupidest conversation that we have to even talk about this stuff because what other industry operates this way? I'm sure every other industry has their own black eyes, but for mowing, it's usually like collecting payment from people, as simple as it is for $100, $200, $300 a month worth of weekly mowing. This is the kind of stuff that was driving me insane. And I had talked at length about how I felt like I was a professional debt collector versus a lawn care professional because the check was in the mail. I'll send you cash. I'll send you Bitcoin. Today, it's like, hey, what's your Venmo? I get paid on Friday. Look, if you're doing work for customers, I don't care if it's mowing or mulch or whatever, and they say, hey, I will be paying you in a week or 2 when I get my next check, immediately drop that customer. I don't care the level of work they've done. I don't care how much work they've done for you or with you. I don't care how much work they have projected to do with you. You need to immediately run from somebody who has that little financial margin in their life to pay you. Because once that house of cards falls, no offense, you're on the bottom 20, people on the pecking order about who's going to get paid for all the bills that are due in their life. Okay, it's going to be first it's their mortgage, then it's food, then it's insurance, then it's their cell phone, right? And those 4 are going to be in any particular order. No offense, as the mow guy, the landscape guy, myself included, we're going to be in the bottom 20 to 25th of people are going to get paid on that pecking order. If you pick up at any way, shape, or form that somebody's an ounce late, you need to immediately start shifting the quality or the status or the whatever you want to call it for that customer. Keep them on a short leash. It's just good business. It doesn't mean they're a bad human. It just means they're really bad financially. Again, there's great people that are just horrible with money. And there's horrible people that have a lot of money too, right? The spectrum goes both ways. That being said, move to a charge card on file system. I've heard every excuse under the sun, not to hash a whole nother podcast episode. I know I did last summer, but not to hash it. But I don't care if they're 18 to 80, deaf, blind, dumb, rich, poor, black, white, Asian. It doesn't matter. I've heard all of the above about getting people to convert. I don't want to lose half my business. I don't want to lose a third of my business. I've had these people for 20 years. Oh, that's just not going to work in my town. That just doesn't work with the income level of homes that I'm working with. I work with trailer park people. I work with poor people. I work with wealthy people. I work with subdivision people. I work with rural people. And it's all backslaps and handshakes. I've worked with this lady's 85 and she doesn't have a checking account. She doesn't even have the internet. Bro, at length, in my 5.5 years, 500 podcasts, 250 plus coaching calls, 60,000 comments on YouTube. I've heard it all. I mean, literally, like, it's very rarely I hear a new thing. And if I do, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to hear that. Just kidding. But I've heard it all. And I went through the mill. And after hearing all of that, and then I went to use Yardbook or pick your CRM. Again, I don't care if you use Yardbook. And I went through all that, and then I added my 120 customers. And I had the spectrum of everything I just said, 18 to 80, black, white, Asian. I had trailer parks to $1.5 million homes, everything from 18 to 80. I had a guy named, he was 82 years old. He's literally, actually, as an example, he's the only guy I did not transfer over because he was 82 years old. The other 119, I'm not even BSing you, dude. The other 119 out of 120 customers, every single person I said, we're moving to a charge card on file system. We will have you. Now, I already had everybody's name, number, address, and email, arguably because I spent the 2 years before that moving everybody from paper to Square now to Yardbook. So I already actually had those 4 core pieces of information. When somebody signs up, name, number, address, and email. But either which way, if you guys are onboarding people to a card on file system in the spring, this is a great time to have the conversation. By the way, when's the best time to have this conversation? Any freaking time you're sick and tired of your cash flow being up or down, whatever it is. By the way, let's just fast forward to the end of the whole story. If you have 100 customers and you had 12 grand a month of weekly mowing or monthly mowing, how nice would it be if you had a charge card on file and you could have 11,800 minus fees or 11,600 minus fees in your checking account after you build out $12,000 4 days later once it hits your account, your checking account, versus 2 grand, 3 grand, 1 grand, 4 grand, then being owed $2,000, then being owed $3,000. And then I got people I talk to, they have 5, 10, 80,000, 120,000, 200,000 in accounts receivable. We've had some great, honest, testimonies and conversations on the show about people being owed $80,000, $90,000 in accounts receivable because they're invoicing. And I'm like, why don't you not have a card on file? Then they spend 4 months cleaning up all of that, onboarding everybody, of course, collecting those payments. And now they don't have to worry about $80,000, $90,000 in accounts receivable, money that's owed to them with their business. How freaking crazy cool is that? In which way, now is a great time. It would have been in the summer. It would have been in the fall. It would have been in the winter. It definitely is in the spring. The best time to do something is like implement it now. Move to a charge card on file system. I don't know any other reason that anybody could rebuttal. And if you have one, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear your thoughts about why you don't want to move to a charge card on file system. Make it make sense to me, because there's no upside of invoicing a customer other than the fact that they can give you a tip. And I've heard that one. That's the only one that usually comes up. Here's the deal. The only person that's trying to pay their income or pay their rent or pay their bills or pay their mortgage with their rent is a waitress or a server. You are not a server. You are not a waitress. You are a lawn landscape professional. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but dude, be practical. Well, dude, I do 100,000 and every 100,000 I get $3,000 in tips. I agree. That was my story with Yardbook before we moved to a charge card on file system back when I got tips with Square. However, the 100,000 that you do, losing out on $3 grand in tips, you weren't getting your 100,000. You were getting 90,000. Then you'd have $3,000 in tips come in, and you were excited about the $3,000 in tips because it helped shore up the $10,000 you were freaking owed to you. So you can lie to yourself all you want, just don't lie to me. Okay. Now, I'm telling you, I'm just telling you, I want you guys to win. I want you guys to make money. I want you to stop dealing with stupid stuff. And this is just, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm telling you what, I figured out what works for me. And this is the stuff that I think would work for about 97% of you guys listening in any way, shape, or form. I believe 100%, but I'm not ignorant enough to believe that it wouldn't work for somebody. So that's why I'm giving you guys a margin of error. Okay. I'm not trying to be impressive. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. I'm just telling you, dude, like, I sent an Instagram, or I shared an Instagram. It was John Maxwell. Like, people will change with 4 things. Like, one was when they know better. One when they want to do better. One is when the pain is big enough. Or 4 is when they want to like inspire. They get inspired too. For me, a lot of my change became when I was pain. It was just pain driven. And number 2, when I learned better, I would do better. Okay. Let me say that again. You're going to change when the pain is great enough, or when you get inspired enough to know better and do better. For me, I don't know if it was both. I don't know if it was one or the other. I don't know if it was 60-40 split or 40-60 split. I don't know. I don't care. But the pain of not being able to pay for payroll and provide my wife quality living, which is our new apartment versus our old shithole 700 square foot apartment, is because we never had the cash flow to be able to pay for payroll and to make sure that we had any margin coming into our life. We never started stacking cash until we got our charge cards on file, because we were always robbing Peter to pay Paul. Not only financially was it devastating, mentally it was devastating. One day seeing the checking account have $300 in it, then it has $3,000, then it has, minus $700, and I'm using my wife's 2-week paycheck for $900 at the hearing aid place that she used to work with doing hearing tests, using her paycheck to pay for payroll. Anybody ever been there? Look, I'm not trying to sell you guys on doing anything different. I'm trying to let you know what changed my life. And when the pain of like the financial cash flow and the home arguments was great enough, that's when I decided to change. And people are like, well, I might lose 1 or 2 customers that don't have a credit card on file. And I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm going to stop arguing with my wife 7 days a week because we don't have any money. Like, which one is more of a priority for you? Well, I got 70-year-old customers. Who cares? All they are is a mowing account. They're worth $800 of gross revenue per year for you. Versus the sanity of you and your wife not arguing every month because the checking account never gets above $1,500 a month. And you're going to argue at length about why it's more easy for you to accept Venmo or to earn a freaking 5 or 10 or 15% tip on your CRM of choice. Are you freaking kidding me? Again, dude, lie to yourself. Don't lie to me, and don't lie to other people. Okay? I'm not being a dickhead. I'm just telling you guys straight up. This is the unfiltered shit about running a real business. And I'm trying to help you guys navigate collecting your cash. People are like, well, I'll do a $1,200 mulch job. The guys will catch up with me. He's broke. His car was repoed 2 weeks ago. That's why he's home at 10 o'clock during the weekday. It's not because he's a high-level executive at IBM. Homie is on unemployment, and he just snubbed you for $1,200 to redo his mulch. He's got the nicest looking house on the block, and he's unemployed. Homie couldn't even do it on his own. He got you to do it. And he's home. He's home during the day watching football. And then somebody's going to rebuttal to me, oh, I don't want to do a charge card, or I don't want to leave the property until I charge that $1,200 for that mulch job. Dude, whatever. Go ahead. Go. You just extend all your line of credit, burn through all your cash, and then you call me in July and August and say, hey, dude, things are tough. And man, $250 for a coaching call, that's expensive. No, coaching calls for $250 are the cheapest thing you could ever invest in. They're expensive when you don't have money. When you have money and things are coming in, you realize $250 to talk to somebody else, how to take that $250 of knowledge and time that you invest into and how to turn it into tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars and milk my brain for what I happen to already have accumulated and pour it back into you for $250 on pennies on the dollar. That's when coaching calls become extremely cheap. And I tell you that because I do the same thing. I'm buying information and education and influence and positive attitude all the time I can, because that's the real ticket to success, is knowing better so I can do better. I dropped $9,000 on coaching calls in the last 8 weeks. $1,000 for an hour. Yes, the information is worth it. Number 2, you better think I was paying attention. And number 3, you better believe I was implementing. Okay. I care so much. I don't know why or how or what. It's just like in my DNA. I care. I want to help you guys so bad. I hate seeing pain. Hate seeing heartache. I hate seeing people owed money. I hate seeing people get screwed over. Like, dude, you run a real business, a respectable business, but nobody's going to respect your business until you start respecting yourself. And that includes your billing. Okay. All right, let's do this real quick. We're going to button it up. I'm going to leave a whole nother podcast for a whole nother time for commercial accounts. That's a great topic. I have so much to share about that. Last year, we did 7 steps to getting more commercial accounts. That's a whole nother module inside our How to Get New Customers training program at launchpreneuracademy.com, where we talk about how to get new customers for 25 minutes at length, giving you like 10 different bullet points. I've got a couple of notes that I have been writing down about how to get new commercial accounts. So let's do this really quick. I'm going to come back. We're going to run it back, and we'll do another podcast episode here next week talking about how to get commercial accounts, because I think it does deserve its own half-hour, 45-minute show where we can give you the latest and greatest, the best info I can, the silver bullet, the sniper rifle, one shot, one kill, help you get as much info as you can as you guys want to tackle some commercial accounts in 2023. How does that sound? Fair enough? Can you guys give me a little slack, a little leeway? This podcast is already at an hour. Let's take a break. We'll come on back on Monday or Wednesday next week. We'll talk about how to get more commercial accounts, and we'll kind of button it up right here. All right, guys, I love you. I know this is a tough love kind of podcast and conversation. If it's helpful, maybe share it to a lawn bro. Share it with somebody you know that's struggling with their finances. Maybe they confide in you a little bit with their lawn business. Feel free to share it, on your IG stories. Give me a tag. Let me know how we're doing. Give me the fire emoji. If it's fire, tag me a couple times. Also, if you guys haven't left us a rating review, dude, thank you for showing up for all of you guys that have. I super appreciate the love. Seriously, I read those every time I get a report from Chartable.com. All the latest reviews that come on in. I love reading them. Marty, Mr. Producer, loves reading them. We super appreciate the feedback and just, frankly, the encouragement, man. For it's a one-way street typically on the podcast, but those ratings or reviews are the best way for us to know what you guys are thinking about the show. So if you guys got feedback, we really welcome it. We appreciate it. Let us know how we're doing. That's what I got. Let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer in the ATL. We will be back here next week, Monday, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
You hear me all the time touting the benefits of the Lawntrepreneur Academy. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and it seems like the word is really getting out about Brian's training and resources site. For example, Alexa, I need to learn how to make more money in lawn care. What do I do?
Hi, Marty. The answer is LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com.
Hey, Google, my favorite gal says I need to learn the business side of the lawn care business. How can I best do that?
The answer is LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com.
Hey, Siri, you're always spying on me. You heard my questions. What would you do?
If I wanted to cut grass and make cash, I would visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com.
Well, it's unanimous. Even artificial intelligence knows that LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com is the answer to the question.
Marty, I thought I was your favorite gal. What the hell is going on?
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.